Most people are wasting years of their training or fighting career in the wrong gym thinking that it will do because they haven't experienced elsewhere. The truth is, the right environment is the difference between making you great or average. So if you want to find out how to find the right gym for you, this is the video. Are you a fighter or are you a hobbyist? This is the first thing, in my opinion, that you should be trying to figure out. A lot of people want to be a fighter, right? They want to be a fighter, but they don't actually want everything that comes with that in terms of the training, the diet, S&C, and it's a lot more in-depth and intense than people imagine it to be. So try and figure out as early as possible, do you want to be a fighter, or do you just want to be a hobbyist, or do you want something else? Like for me, for example, I want to become a great coach. So it's a slightly different thing, but still in the martial arts space. There's kind of those three areas that you're going to go into: fighter, hobbyist, or coach. Okay, now here's the reason why you should be looking at that early on. If you want to be a fighter, I fucking beg you, please look at the competition history of that gym. If they're regularly going to compete and all of their guys are losing the majority of the time, do not go to that gym. Fucking please. It's so important because competition is the true test of how good their training is. It's the ultimate proving ground. Nothing else is going to compare to that. No matter how good they tell you the training is, if they go to competition and always lose, not always, but majority of the time at least, if the majority of their fights end in losses, that's not a good sign. Now, this is still important even if you're a hobbyist or you want to be a coach, because it probably means, again, that the training and the techniques and everything that they are learning and doing at that gym isn't quite up to standard, right? So even if you're a hobbyist, I think that your goal in anything, even if you don't want to take it to an extreme level, should be to be the best that you can be, right? And if the best that you can be is held back by someone else or another entity, that's not ideal. So even if you don't want to compete, I strongly believe still look at the competition history of that gym. How busy are they? How busy are their classes? If 80% of their classes are always pretty full, that's a good sign, right? People are voting with their feet. People are voting with where they're choosing to spend their time training. If 80% of their classes, rough number obviously, are pretty full, that's a good sign. If you always show up to class and every single class is like, oh, it's pretty quiet today, for me, that's going to be a red flag when you go in there. People are deliberately choosing to not go to that class. Question that. Why are they choosing to not be at this class? Are they going somewhere else instead of being here a lot of the time? That's not a good sign. People are always going to stay where the training is good.
Stop right there. If you're enjoying this video and you want more conversation like this and more tips like this, then join the school community that's linked in my bio, where you will find loads of other like-minded martial artists, and we can all help each other out. And if not, then I'm gonna cry, so please do it, please do it.
How invested is the coach in you? If your coach is regularly showing signs that he's not really that invested or only invested when it suits him or her, again, a very, very bad sign, and you should get out of there as soon as possible. Again, in my opinion, right? I'm not saying that I'm some fucking expert, but I've got some lived experiences, and if I can pass it on to someone else and make their training just a little bit better with what I've learned from my few years, awesome. That's the whole point of this. Some really big signs that he's not that invested in you. One being, how often is the coach on their phone? Now, obviously, sometimes they're going to be on their phone, maybe checking notes for the class. Maybe they do genuinely have a very, very urgent matter that they need to attend to. Again, that's a separate issue, right? Or if they're setting timers, whatever, right? But if they're regularly just scrolling on their phone, sending emails that could be sent another time, sending messages that could be sent another time, and just generally always attached to their fucking phone instead of being interested in the class that they're taking for people who they want to go and send to competition, not a good sign. And again, if they teach a technique, for example, and then they just bounce and disappear for 5 minutes, instead of sitting there, helping their students with the technique that they've learned, maybe slightly adjusting it for someone whose body maybe doesn't work in the same way, or helping someone out who's struggling, they should be incredibly invested. If you've got an hour class, let's say it's an hour or 90 minutes, that's not a huge amount of time. If they can't be invested for 60 to 90 minutes, how are you going to trust them to take you to a competition where you could potentially get severely injured if you haven't trained in the sufficient or correct manner? This is why I think it's so damn important. You are going to do something that is dangerous. If your coach or the team around them are not invested in you, do not trust them to take you to do something as dangerous as fighting. If there's all these little signs of underinvestment, get the fuck out of there. Go somewhere else. It's like a relationship, right? If your girlfriend is showing signs of disloyalty or underinvestment, get the fuck out of there, because there's going to be someone who will be invested. There's going to be someone that is willing to put the extra yard in to build something. It's the exact same thing with a coach at a fight gym. Go somewhere that will invest in you, because I promise you, there are places that will invest in you, and I've seen it with my own eyes. There are places that will not invest in you and will get you hurt. It's such an important thing. A coach's or a team of coaches' roles is so unbelievably important, and it is the difference between potentially getting incredibly hurt or potentially ruining your mental state and having severe long-term impacts on you, or achieving what you want to achieve, right? You want to look for somewhere that lets you train at other places without making you feel bad about doing so. And why is that so important? I believe it's important because there's certain things you get from going to a new gym or a new environment, maybe a different country, that you just simply can't recreate in the same gym that you train at all year round. When you go somewhere else, you get a little bit more nervous. You get to train with different bodies. Maybe the weather's slightly different. If you go to a different country, it brings a different intensity in that aspect that you can't get 20 minutes down the road because you're not used to the environment in these different countries. And you're gonna learn and pick up different things from different people. These are things that you can only get by traveling around and going to different places. And if your coach or your gym doesn't allow you to do this, they're doing a big disservice, because they're taking away the ability to learn from different people and live your own experience in fear that it's gonna undermine what they're trying to do. And often this comes from places of insecurity. So again, if that's happening, get out of it. Okay, the actual training itself, lots of live work. Yes, technique is important. If you never learn technique, when it comes to live work, you're gonna be an absolute mess, just go, right? Technique is important, but it gets to a certain point that the more advanced you get, the more live work you should be doing. It's all well and good being able to do something against a compliant partner or opponent, but the true test of that is when the partner or opponent is non-compliant. If you don't get plenty of opportunity to put your skills to the test against non-compliancy, then you don't really know how skilled you are. Lots and lots of live work, super, super valuable. From my experience, I've got better by going to gyms that have a big emphasis on live work and sparring. Now look, who the fuck am I to tell you all of this? So if you do want to learn from people who have got way more credibility than me, just some little random guy, then click on this video where I was speaking to one of the top fighters or coaches in the world, and you can learn directly from them, and sometimes listening to this ugly mug butting in as well.